So this is another lesson, new week, new lessons. So this week I thought we could talk about expressing likes and dislikes. Now, this one, I'm sure I know everybody's at a different level of English. Some of you might find this really boring lesson. Some of you may think, "Oh, I already know these words." So I tried to make the lesson easy for people that are still kind of in the beginning of learning English, but also kind of give you words that you can use for people who feel like they're really comfortable speaking English. New vocabulary words that will keep you from saying very much or a lot, often, right? To kind of give you words that instead of saying, oh, I do this a lot, or I uh, very much, like this very much, you can use these words instead of saying very much, a lot, those things. You can just say these words and it lets people know, oh, it's a lot, or not that much. So probably doesn't make sense what I'm talking about. But this week we're talking about expressing likes and dislikes. So we're going to do sight words again. I'm going to keep doing this unless you guys tell me not to, that you don't like this, but I think sight words are really good to help you increase your reading, increase your vocabulary, and be able to help you to listen for these words better when you're talking to people. So the first word is like. Really easy. What does like mean? Like can be used in lots of different ways in English. In this way, it's being used as a verb. When we talk about things that we like, it's a verb. So likes is the simple present, liking is the present progressive, and liked is the simple past. And when we like something, it's something you wish or want, or something that's agreeable. What does agreeable mean? It just means something that you're okay with, right? It's something that you want to be around. It's something or someone you want to be around. So that's why we use like. It's things that are good to us, things that we want to have around, something that we like to do, right? When I say I like to take walks, or I like coffee, it means that the person prefers to have coffee. Why do we tell people this? We tell people what we like to help them know, what to get us. Like if somebody's going and, oh, I'm gonna go out for lunch. Do you want me to bring you anything? You could say, oh, um I like soda more than milkshakes. Then so can you get me a soda? Um, but so that person will remember, I know they like soda, so whenever they go out, they can get you a soda, instead of a milkshake, or things like that. Like it just helps people know more about you. But it also helps you ask questions about people, like what do you like? So you can use it that way. Fond. The word fond. We use this in English, and it means to have an affection for something or someone. An affection means like good, you have good feelings for it. It's something that, like, when you see it, it makes you happy. It means good things for you. So when you have an affection for something or someone, it means you're fond. Something or someone you feel loving to. That's what fond is. So you could say, I am fond of walking. I am fond of red wine. I am fond of her. Now you'll notice that you can, instead of saying, I am fond of walking, you could say, I like walking, right? So you could use it that way. Um, so you can use a lot of these words, you just replace them with each other. The only thing is that each word kind of means a little bit different something in English. And that's what's so hard about English is all of our words, some of them seem like they're the same thing, but they have different what we call connotations. Connotations is when we use these words, um, is what makes it okay to say it. It's not really a rule, it's not really definition, it's just what we think of when we hear these words in English, what native English speakers think of. super doesn't make sense, I know. But when we say I'm fond of something, it's it usually means, a little bit nicer than liking something. It's like, "Oh, I'm so fond of you," or, "Oh, I'm fond of her." It's a little bit between, like, there's like, I like something, and I love something, and fond is kind of in the middle here. Enjoy. Enjoy is another verb. So you can say enjoy, or if you use, uh, he, she enjoys. That's a simple present, right? Enjoying is the present progressive, and enjoyed is the simple past. And enjoyed, enjoying, enjoys, it's something that you take delight in or pleasure in. What does delight and pleasure mean? It means, you're very happy when you do it, or when you see them, or when you're around them or something. And it's something that you like to do. Now I'm using the word like. So the words, fond, enjoy, these words, we're kind of going kind of deeper and more, like you like something more and more and more, and you can use these words. So if you're fond of something, it means that you like it, but it's a little bit better than like. When you use enjoy, I enjoy this, I enjoy lunch breaks. Um, it's a little bit more than like. Now the word love. Love, we use this gets used a lot in English. You could say, "Oh, I love that. I love this." But it also is something when we use the word, it's an intense, so very strong feeling of deep affection. And affection is like you love, you want. That's what affection is. So it's an intense feeling of deep affection. So that's what love is, right? And it's a verb, so you can say love or loves in the simple present, loving for present progressive, and loved for simple past. And so you'll see, you could say, "Oh, I'm fond of something." It means it's a little bit more than like. When you say you enjoy something, it's a little bit more than like, a little bit more than fond. And then when you love something, that's like the a big one, right? But we also use it in situations when it's not really like a deep affection. People will use it like, "Oh, I love that. I love her." Um, some people use love a lot when they are talking, and some people don't really use it because they think it's like this very special word that you can only use when you have a deep affection. But love is used a lot. But when you use love, it means it's a little bit deeper, right? The word adore. Now, the word adore is something or someone you love and respect. So obviously, when you love someone or something, you respect them, right? But adore is like a little bit more. It's like, "Oh, I just love them so much and I respect them so much." Adore is like, when you can say, "Oh, I adore her," or "I adore him." It's like a lot of love, and that's why we use it, is because it's like, "Oh, I just adore this," or it's a lot of love, a lot of good feelings. And adore is also a verb, so you can say adore or adores, adoring, adored. Those are all the ways that you'd say it. um Now, we talked about all the ways to talk about liking something, right? You can like, be fond of, enjoy, love, or adore something, right? But when you dislike something, it's the opposite of like. It means that you feel hostility towards. You do not like to be around. Hostility is like feelings like, think of if you see a cat and their fur stands up on their back, like that's what hostility is. It's this feeling of, "Ooh, I don't want to be around you," or "Ooh, I don't like this." So something that I dislike is, trying to think of something that I really dislike. Um, I dislike having cold feet. I hate when my feet are cold, and I'm a big baby about it, especially in the winter. If my feet are cold, um, then I start feeling like I can't do anything. I have to stop everything and get my feet warm. So I dislike having my feet cold. And dislike is a verb, just like. So you can say dislike or dislikes, disliking, which is the present progressive, and disliked, which is the simple past. It's a T sound, disliked. Um, so dislike is kind of the basic one that we use to talk about when we do not like something, right? When we feel hostility towards something, kind of a ooh feeling about something or someone too. We can dislike people too. So that's the thing about all these words is you can use all of these words to talk about things or actions, right? Like I dislike running. That's an action. You can dislike it or you can dislike people, right? You can use all these words to talk about things, actions or people. Hate. Now, hate is used a lot in America. We use this word all the time. I hate this, I hate that, I hate them. Um, but hate, when it's defined, when we're talking about what it means, it's a deep dislike for someone or something. It's very deep. It's almost like a disgust feeling. But hate gets used a lot. So you could say, "Oh, I hate taking the bus," right? So that's something you hate. It's just something that you don't like doing. You don't want to do it, right? You dislike it. But it's more. Um, it means more than dislike. So dislike is kind of like, I don't like it, but it's not the worst. When you hate something, it's like, don't let me do it. I don't want to be around that person, that kind of thing. Detest. Now, this word detest that we use in English, you'd say, "Oh, I detest snow." It means it's an intense, so it's a very strong dislike. Um, Hate is a really big feeling, right? It's just a lot of dislike. Detest is like you cannot be around it. You do not want to be around it at all. That's what detest is. So it's a little bit stronger of a word than hate or dislike. The next word, despise. It's a verb, despise, despises, despising, despised. Different ways you can say it with the different verb tenses. But it's to feel contempt for. You cannot be around something or someone. So, detest, ugh. Despise, ugh. It's like even worse. I despise. It's almost like when you despise something, it's not just when you see it or when you see the person that you don't want to be around them or it. It's like you always try to not be around them, or you always try to not be around it. You do everything you can to not be around it, or to see it or to do it. That's what despise is. So it's a really strong. Loathe. Loathe can be loathe or loathes, loathing, loathed. Now, this word's kind of hard because you're like, okay, it's a TH, it's a OA. So the OA is the same sound as like in boat, O, loathe. And then the TH, um, it makes kind of a sound, like kind of a humming sound, loathe, loathe. Um, uh, think of like the way we say cloth. It's like we're just kind of blowing air through our teeth, cloth. But if we say clothes, it goes from just a to a loathe, loathe. It's kind of how a little pronunciation help. But to loathe is to feel a deep disgust for something or someone. And disgust is what a word we use when you are disgusted or disgust, and not like talking disgust, like disgusted. This is disgusting. I loathe this. It means it's something that you think about and you never ever want to do it again. That's what loathe is. It's like I never want to do this again. And not just you never want to, you will refuse, you will say no to something. So some people, when you detest something or despise something, if you dislike something, you still will do it, you just don't like it, right? You dislike it. But when you loathe something, that's when you say, I'm putting my foot down, right? I will not do this because I loathe it so much. I will not do it. So yeah, so that's something, a word you can use now. So all these words you can use now. Loathe. When you use words for dislike, you have to be careful because sometimes people get really offended depending on what you use. So my rule when I talk to people, if I'm talking about my dislikes, things that I don't like, I always just use the word dislike. I'll say, I dislike exercising. I dislike this food. I dislike cooked tomatoes. I dislike this because it doesn't really offend people and it doesn't make them sad because it's like, okay, they just dislike it. But if you use something like hate or detest or despise or loathe, that's very strong feelings. And I usually only use those words when I know that the other person feels the same way. But there's definitely a difference between saying I dislike seeing my in-laws, right? Than saying I loathe my in-laws, right? If you say I dislike my in-laws, it's just kind of like, I don't get along with them. I don't want to be around them. When you loathe your in-laws, or I loathe my sister, right? If you loathe somebody, if you despise, I despise my sister. I detest my sister. I hate my sister. When you use these words, they're very, very strong. So you have to be really careful when you use them. Um, and the words for like, adore, love, enjoy, fond, when you use these words, um, they can make people feel really good um, when you use them, right? When you say like, oh my goodness, I just adore them. I adore Rosa, or I adore Julia. Um, it makes people feel good, right? Because you're letting know, oh, I just love you and respect you so much. So these ones, some people would say you need to be more careful, but I think these ones, it's okay to use them all a lot when you talk about people. But you got to be really careful when you use these words for dislike, detest, despise, loathe. So just be careful. Now, just like with the other words, I'm going to go through and I'm going to let you um, practice by seeing them and practice reading them. And then I'll say them just to so you know you got it right. They're really easy, so I'm sure a lot of you will do really well. If you don't do well, that's okay. That's why we have this lesson. Okay, so I'll pause, let you read it, and then say the word. Like, fond, enjoy, love, adore, dislike, hate, detest, despise, loathe. Okay, so those are all the words. I'm going to make it so you can't see them, and then I'm going to say them really quick. And I want you to practice just listening for them and see if you can make the difference between them. Like, fond, enjoy, love, adore, dislike, hate, detest, despise, loathe. So that was all of them. So that one was really quick. Loathe, despise, detest, hate, dislike, adore, love, enjoy, fond, like. So that's it for the lesson today. Oh, you know what? There's one more thing that I want to show you. This will be really quick. And it's something I wanted to show you. And it's about, okay, so these are hold on. we'll just take a little, you can probably fast forward this part of the video. But these are little sheets that you can use. All right, let's see which ones I opened. So they have made, the city has made these sheets. Here, let me share. So they've made these sheets that is information about, oh, where'd it go? Hold on. It's information about the COVID-19 vaccine. So this one is in Spanish, which you can, it's all just information about the vaccine and how it works, you know, will you get sick after you get it, things like that, what's it going to do. So they have these sheets so you can decide for yourself if you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine, the first dose, or if you don't want to, which it's your choice to do if you want to or if you don't want to. There's these, you can pause the video and read it if you want to. I know that most of you speak Spanish, some of you don't, and I'm not exactly sure what some of the native languages all of you speak, like Angelique, I'm not sure what your native language is. But I can look for those if you need them. But yeah, so this is information on the vaccine to decide if you want to get it or not. So that's it for today. And let me know if you have questions. If you want me to send you this sheet in your native language, let me know. And if you need any help with anything else, just let me know.